So it's a privilege to be here, and I'm honored to be celebrating the first of many National Days of Service with so many members of the 9/11 community. For many of us in this room, September 11th, 2001 is a day that changed the course of our lives. We'll never forget the horror that we felt as we worried about our missing loved ones and friends, our city, our country. Like many Americans, I'll remember where I was when the first plane hit. I was in the House gymnasium. Initially, I thought it was an accident. When the second plane crashed into the South Tower, I was horrified, immediately called home in New York, realizing that my daughter was attending high school within the shadow of the World Trade Center. My wife and I were in a state of panic. We took out the almanac to see how tall the Trade Center towers were and tried to figure out how far away they were from the high school. And when we couldn't find my daughter for 5 hours, the terror, the panic of not knowing where she was when all of the school had been successfully evacuated still haunts me to this day. Appropriately, she was in a sense doing service. They had shut down the elevators in the school. It was 9 stories, Stuyvesant High School. And there was an elderly teacher in her English class who couldn't get down the stairs very quickly, and my daughter waited and helped her down the stairs and got separated from the kids in the school.
For me and for many Americans, and I know for many of you, 9/11 will always be a day that represents humanity at its worst and humanity at its best. A day when many of you experienced senseless violence and tragic, unspeakable loss. But when you also witnessed the heroism, the generosity, and compassion of our fellow citizens. Today, we know that the threat of violent extremism still remains, and our nation has to be vigilant. We have to be strong in the face of those who would seek to do harm to our people, our nation, and our values. By coming together to honor those who lost and who gave their lives 8 years ago, we renew our strength to move forward in the face of both old and new challenges. And we come together to invigorate the values that have defined our country and our people for more than 200 years. Now, like many of you, I will always carry with me the images and the emotions of that day, of what came to be called Ground Zero. But I will also try to focus even more, if I can, as a citizen and when I was a senator and now as your Secretary of State. I will focus on the firefighters and the police and the rescue workers, the citizens, all the first responders from wherever they came, who responded fearlessly to danger on that awful day. The images of them running into burning and collapsing buildings to save the lives of others, of those who climbed the stairs of the towers to help others escape. They made the ultimate sacrifice, and it is those people, many of your loved ones, your friends, your colleagues, who we remember and honor today, who truly represent the best of humanity.